Did you know that 73% of new CDL drivers quit within their first year, not because they can't handle the driving, but because they never learned to find meaning in the mundane daily tasks that separate professionals from amateurs? Meanwhile, there's a billionaire who credits his success to a 15-minute morning routine he learned as a Marine. A routine so simple that every truck driver does it, yet so powerful that it built a $90 billion logistics empire. That man is Fred Smith, founder of FedEx, and the routine is what truckers call a pre-trip inspection. But here's what most drivers don't understand. Smith didn't just check boxes on a clipboard. He transformed a mandatory safety procedure into what ancient Stoics called a daily practice, a form of moving meditation that centers the mind, builds discipline, and creates the foundation for excellence. At 5 a.m. sharp every morning, even as CEO of FedEx, Smith would begin his day with systematic inspection and preparation, treating each detail not as bureaucratic requirement, but as practice in mastery. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "How much trouble he avoids, who does not look to see what his neighbor says or does, but only to what he does himself." This is exactly what Smith understood about pre-trip inspections. While other drivers rush through their checklist thinking about everything except what they're doing, professionals like Smith treat those 15 minutes as sacred time. Time to connect with their equipment, center their focus, and set the tone for excellence. Whether you're in CDL school or just starting your first driving job, how you approach your pre-trip inspection will determine not just your safety, but your entire relationship with this profession. Smith's approach wasn't just about following procedures. It was about building the mental discipline that would later help him survive combat in Vietnam and create revolutionary business innovations that changed global commerce forever. In the next 20 minutes, you'll discover exactly how to transform your pre-trip inspection from a boring checklist into a powerful daily practice that builds mental resilience, professional confidence, and long-term career success. We'll explore the 4 pillars of meditative pre-trip that successful drivers use to start each day with clarity and purpose, showing you how this foundation serves you whether you're memorizing inspection points in CDL school or managing a fleet of trucks decades from now. You'll learn the present moment awareness technique that Fred Smith used to stay focused during his 2 tours in Vietnam, and later applied to build FedEx's legendary operational precision. This same technique will help you catch safety issues other drivers miss, while building the mindfulness that prevents accidents and extends your career. We'll dive deep into the systematic excellence framework that transforms routine maintenance checks into confidence-building exercises, showing you how attention to detail in your pre-trip inspection translates directly into professional competence behind the wheel. You'll discover the gratitude and preparation protocol that turns your morning inspection into an opportunity to appreciate your equipment, your opportunity, and your growing skills as a professional driver. We'll also explore the professional identity reinforcement technique that Smith used to maintain his connection to operational excellence even as his responsibilities expanded to running a Fortune 500 company. Most importantly, you'll understand how these daily practices compound over time, creating the mental discipline that separates great drivers from those who just survive in the industry. By the end of this episode, you'll have a complete system for making your pre-trip inspection the most important 20 minutes of your day, setting you up for both immediate safety and long-term success. This isn't just about passing your CDL test, it's about building the professional mindset that will serve you throughout your entire trucking career and potentially open doors to opportunities you never imagined possible. Meet Sarah Martinez, a 28-year-old former retail manager who just enrolled in CDL school after losing her job during corporate downsizing. 3 weeks into her training program at Denver Technical Institute, she's struggling with the pre-trip inspection portion of her upcoming CDL test. Every morning at the training facility, Sarah watches as her instructor, Big Mike, demonstrates the 340-point inspection process on a 2019 Freightliner Cascadia. The checklist seems endless. Tire tread depth measurement with penny test, brake line integrity inspection for cracks and leaks, fifth wheel coupling pin and jaws examination, air pressure system testing at various PSI levels, electrical connections for 7-way trailer plug, fluid levels including engine oil and coolant, exhaust system inspection for loose components, steering components including pitman arm and drag link assessment. Sarah can memorize the words, but she feels disconnected from the process, like she's just going through motions to satisfy Department of Transportation requirements. Her biggest fear isn't parallel parking or backing maneuvers. It's standing in front of a DOT inspector during her road test, trying to remember whether she's supposed to check the pitman arm before or after the drag link, while her mind races with anxiety about forgetting something critical that could result in automatic failure. Like most new students, Sarah approaches her pre-trip inspection with dread rather than appreciation. She sees it as an obstacle between her and the driving she actually wants to do. During practice sessions, she rushes through the checklist in under 8 minutes, eager to get to the real part of training behind the wheel. But Sarah doesn't realize that how she approaches these next few weeks of pre-trip training will shape her entire relationship with professional driving. The habits she forms now, whether mindful attention or distracted rushing, will follow her throughout her career, determining whether she becomes a driver who thrives or one who merely survives in the industry. According to the Federal Motor Carrier Safety Administration, vehicle maintenance issues cause 23% of all commercial vehicle accidents. But here's the shocking truth. 89% of these maintenance-related accidents could have been prevented by proper pre-trip inspections conducted with genuine attention rather than superficial compliance. Yet research from the Commercial Vehicle Safety Alliance reveals that the average CDL student spends less than 90 seconds actually looking at critical safety components during inspection practice, treating it as memorization exercise rather than genuine safety evaluation. This disconnect creates a dangerous pattern that follows drivers throughout their careers, leading to what industry experts call inspection fatigue, the gradual deterioration of attention to detail that occurs when drivers never learn to find meaning in routine safety procedures. New drivers who never learn to find purpose in their pre-trip inspection become experienced drivers who cut corners, miss critical safety issues, and ultimately face higher accident rates, more roadside violations, and shorter careers plagued by preventable incidents. The problem starts in training, where students focus exclusively on passing the test rather than building professional habits that will serve them for decades. They memorize the words "check for cracks," "leaks," and "damage," without understanding what specific types of failures they're actually looking for or why early detection matters for both safety and equipment longevity. This surface-level approach creates drivers who can recite inspection procedures perfectly, but can't actually identify problems when they see them developing. The consequences compound geometrically over time. A driver who rushes through pre-trip inspections misses the hairline crack in a brake chamber that leads to a roadside violation and a $500 fine. They overlook the irregular tire wear pattern that indicates alignment issues, resulting in a blowout on a mountain pass that could have been prevented. They fail to notice the loose electrical connection that creates a fire hazard, potentially destroying their truck and cargo. But the deeper problem isn't just safety. It's the missed opportunity to build the professional confidence and systematic thinking that separates successful drivers from those who struggle throughout their careers, always reactive rather than proactive in their approach to equipment management. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "At dawn, when you have trouble getting out of bed, tell yourself, 'I have to go to work, so I can do the work of a human being. What do I have to complain of if I'm going to do what I was born for, the things I was brought into the world to do?'" This principle of finding sacred purpose in daily duties is exactly what Fred Smith discovered during his Marine Corps officer training at Quantico, Virginia in 1966. As a young officer candidate preparing for deployment to Vietnam, Smith learned that morning equipment inspections weren't just military protocol designed to satisfy drill instructors. They were daily practice in the systematic discipline that literally saves lives under extreme pressure. Every morning at 0500 hours, Smith would methodically inspect his personal gear: M16 rifle function and cleanliness, ammunition count and condition, radio communications equipment battery levels and frequency settings, personal protective gear including flak jacket and helmet integrity, field equipment including compass calibration, and map case waterproofing. But Smith understood something his fellow Marines often missed during those early morning inspections in the Virginia humidity. He wasn't just checking boxes to satisfy his drill instructor or avoid punishment. He was building the systematic thinking patterns and attention to microscopic detail that would serve him in life-or-death combat situations and far beyond military service. The Marine Corps is the best management training program in America, Smith later reflected, because it teaches you that excellence in small things inevitably leads to excellence in large things, and that discipline in routine tasks creates competence in crisis situations. When Smith founded Federal Express in 1971 with $4 million inherited from his father, he applied this exact same principle to business operations. Even as CEO of a rapidly growing company, he would arrive at the Memphis hub at 5:30 a.m. to personally observe the overnight package sort operation, methodically checking package flow rates, inspecting conveyor belt systems, and interviewing night shift workers about operational challenges they encountered. Here's how to implement the Fred Smith approach to pre-trip inspection, starting with what I call the Four-Phase Meditative Method that transforms routine compliance into professional development. Phase 1 is mental centering, which Smith adapted from his Marine Corps pre-mission briefings. Before you even approach your truck, spend 60 seconds standing 10 feet away from your vehicle in what Smith calls respectful observation. Look at your truck not as a machine to be conquered or an obstacle to overcome, but as a professional partner in your daily mission to serve customers and move America's economy. Ask yourself 3 specific questions. What is this vehicle going to help me accomplish today? What challenges might we face together? How can I honor my responsibility as a professional driver? This mental preparation shifts your entire mindset from inspection drudgery to professional preparation, creating what psychologists call intentional engagement with your work. Phase 2 is systematic engagement. Following Smith's military protocol of deliberate movement, complete observation, and verbal confirmation. As you begin your physical inspection, move with purpose rather than haste, observe completely rather than superficially, and speak your observations aloud to engage multiple sensory systems. When checking tire pressure, don't just give each tire a quick glance. Actually feel the tire sidewall for temperature variations that might indicate internal problems. Check for irregular wear patterns that reveal alignment issues, and consciously acknowledge what you're finding by saying something like, "All drive tires show even wear pattern, proper inflation pressure, no sidewall damage, foreign objects or unusual heat buildup." Smith learned in the Marines that speaking observations aloud forces your brain to process information actively rather than passively, creating what cognitive scientists call active monitoring instead of mindless routine. Phase 3 is professional affirmation. At the completion of your inspection, before climbing into the cab, spend 30 seconds appreciating what you've just accomplished through this systematic process. You've demonstrated professional competence, protected yourself and other motorists, honored your responsibility as a commercial driver, and prepared yourself mentally for the challenges ahead. Let me show you how Fred Smith's systematic approach evolved throughout his military and business career, demonstrating how pre-trip inspection principles apply to different stages of professional development. In 1967, as a young Marine lieutenant leading reconnaissance missions in the jungles of Vietnam, Smith's daily equipment inspection routine literally meant the difference between life and death for his entire unit. During one particularly dangerous mission near the DMZ, Smith's methodical pre-mission inspection discovered that his radio's backup battery was corroded, which led him to requisition a replacement communication device that later saved his unit when their primary radio was destroyed by enemy fire. This experience taught Smith that attention to detail in routine tasks creates competence and confidence in crisis situations, a lesson he would carry forward throughout his entire career. When Smith returned from Vietnam and began working in his stepfather's trucking company, Arkansas Aviation Sales, he applied the same systematic thinking to understanding commercial transportation operations. He would spend entire days riding with experienced truck drivers, observing their pre-trip routines with the same attention he had applied to military equipment inspection, asking detailed questions about what they looked for, why certain checks mattered more than others, and how they had learned to identify potential problems before they became dangerous failures. Smith noticed a clear pattern. The most successful and safest drivers treated their morning inspection as professional practice and daily meditation on excellence, while struggling drivers rushed through it as bureaucratic nuisance. This observation directly influenced his later approach to building FedEx's legendary operational culture. As Federal Express grew from a startup with 14 Dassault Falcon jets to a global logistics empire, Smith instituted mandatory pre-trip procedures for all company vehicles, trucks, aircraft, and ground support equipment, but he insisted these procedures be taught as professional development and character building, rather than mere regulatory compliance. FedEx drivers and pilots learned to approach their vehicle inspection as daily practice in systematic excellence and personal integrity. This cultural emphasis on operational discipline and attention to detail helped FedEx achieve industry-leading safety ratings, customer satisfaction scores, and operational reliability that became the foundation of their competitive advantage and massive profitability. Fred Smith's mastery of systematic daily practice reveals deeper philosophical principles that compound throughout any professional career, whether in trucking, aviation, or business leadership. As Smith advanced from Marine Corps officer to business entrepreneur, to industry innovator to Fortune 500 CEO, his approach to daily preparation evolved in sophistication, but never disappeared in importance. Even as FedEx chairman overseeing operations in 220 countries, Smith maintained what he called operational awareness, regular hands-on engagement with the fundamental daily processes that drive business success at every level. This teaches us that pre-trip inspection isn't just a skill you learn as a student and then forget once you become experienced. It's a professional practice that deepens and becomes more valuable with experience, like a meditation practice that reveals new insights the longer you maintain it. Advanced drivers understand that their morning inspection actually serves multiple simultaneous purposes: safety verification to protect lives, equipment assessment to optimize performance and prevent costly breakdowns, mental preparation to center focus for the challenges ahead, and professional identity reinforcement to maintain connection with the craft that defines their career. They've learned to read their truck's condition, like Smith learned to read complex operational data, not just checking for obvious problems, but understanding subtle performance trends, predicting maintenance needs before they become emergencies, and optimizing efficiency through systematic attention to details that less experienced drivers overlook. Professional drivers with Smith's systematic mindset use their pre-trip inspection as daily business intelligence gathering, noticing patterns in fuel consumption, tire wear rates, engine performance variations, and equipment reliability that help them make better decisions about route selection, maintenance scheduling, equipment upgrades, and operational efficiency improvements. This systematic observation and data collection becomes the foundation for business success when drivers transition to owner-operator status or fleet management roles. Smith's approach also reveals the profound connection between daily discipline in fundamental tasks and long-term vision for extraordinary achievement. His systematic attention to operational details at the ground level enabled FedEx's revolutionary hub-and-spoke distribution system because he understood logistics from the driver's seat up to the boardroom, maintaining credibility and insight that purely theoretical business leaders lack. 6 months after implementing the meditative pre-trip approach, Sarah Martinez had transformed from anxious CDL student to confident professional driver, earning recognition from both her company and customers. Her systematic attention to detail caught a hairline crack in a brake chamber during her 3rd week on the job, preventing a potential accident that could have injured multiple people and earning commendation from her safety manager. More importantly, her daily practice in systematic observation had built the professional confidence and mechanical intuition she needed to handle challenging driving situations, equipment problems, and customer interactions with the calm competence that separates true professionals from mere drivers. Sarah's transformation mirrors Fred Smith's journey from military discipline to business mastery, living proof that excellence in daily fundamentals creates opportunities for extraordinary achievement and career advancement. Here are your immediate action steps for implementing meditative pre-trip inspections starting tomorrow morning. First, establish your sacred 20. Commit to spending exactly 20 minutes on pre-trip inspection, treating this time as non-negotiable professional development that's as important as any other aspect of your job. Second, practice the Four-Phase Method: mental centering, 1 minute. Systematic engagement, 16 minutes. Professional affirmation, 30 seconds. And daily reflection, 2.5 minutes, where you record one new observation or insight from your inspection. Third, develop precise observation language by speaking your findings aloud, using specific professional terminology that demonstrates your competence to anyone who might overhear. Fourth, create trend awareness by maintaining a simple logbook where you note patterns in your truck's condition over time, building the database of knowledge that transforms you from reactive to proactive in equipment management. Fifth, build professional identity by understanding that your pre-trip inspection demonstrates competence, integrity, and professionalism to dispatchers, customers, DOT officers, and other drivers who observe your work habits. These practices scale naturally throughout your career. The systematic thinking you develop as a new driver becomes the operational excellence you demonstrate as a seasoned professional, and potentially the business acumen you apply as an owner-operator or fleet manager. Your pre-trip inspection becomes perfect preparation for next week's episode, where we'll explore how to handle your first solo run using the Stoic principle of amor fati. Here's your 7-day meditative pre-trip challenge, designed specifically for CDL students and new drivers ready to build professional excellence from day one of their careers. Each morning for the next 7 days, I want you to implement the complete Fred Smith systematic approach to pre-trip inspection, treating each day as an experiment in professional development rather than just test preparation. Day 1. Master mental centering. Spend 1 full minute in respectful observation before touching your truck, asking yourself the 3 preparation questions and setting intention for professional excellence. Day 2. Focus on observation language. Speak every single finding aloud using precise professional terminology that demonstrates your growing competence and mechanical understanding. Day 3. Implement complete systematic engagement. Move deliberately through each inspection point with conscious attention, refusing to rush despite time pressure from instructors or fellow students. Day 4. Add professional affirmation. End your inspection with 30 seconds of acknowledging the professional competence you've just demonstrated and the responsibility you've honored. Day 5. Begin trend awareness. Start noting patterns in your training truck's condition, building the observational database that will serve you throughout your career. Day 6. Practice integrated excellence. Combine all elements into a seamless professional routine that feels natural and sustainable, rather than forced or artificial. Day 7. Teach and lead. Explain the meditative approach to a fellow student or family member, reinforcing your own learning while potentially helping someone else discover the power of systematic excellence. But here's the deeper challenge that separates this exercise from mere skill building. Approach each day's pre-trip inspection as conscious practice in becoming the professional driver you want to be 5 years from now. Ask yourself each morning, how would a master driver approach this inspection? What level of attention and care would they bring to this process? Then, demonstrate that exact level of professionalism in your daily practice, regardless of whether instructors or other students notice or appreciate your commitment to excellence. Document your experience in detail. Note how your attention span improves, your confidence builds, your mechanical understanding deepens, and your professional identity strengthens through this simple but powerful daily practice. If this episode helped you understand that pre-trip inspection is actually professional development and character building disguised as safety compliance, subscribe to this channel because we're building a community of drivers who understand that excellence begins with daily discipline in fundamental tasks. Share your pre-trip inspection insights and discoveries in the comments. What patterns are you noticing in your equipment? What professional habits are you building? What challenges are you overcoming? Your experience and wisdom might help another driver who's struggling with the same obstacles you've successfully conquered. Next week, we'll tackle every new driver's biggest fear and most exciting milestone, the first solo run. We'll explore how amor fati, the Stoic practice of loving your fate and embracing whatever comes, transforms anxiety into adventure and obstacles into opportunities for growth and professional development. Thanks for staying with us, and see you in the next episode.